So here we are with a lot of collection of, or rather a collection of different kind of applications that we would want you to, or we would be expecting from you to prepare all these kind of applications at your end. So let's go ahead and take a look at what exactly are the kind of applications. But prior to that, what I'd be doing is I would be opening the presentation in front of you to just act as a reference of what exactly are the things that we are going to cover and where exactly are they located. The first thing that you must have known about this is this is going to be maybe something like this and then this. So the first thing that we would be covering is Excel object model and object properties and methods. So as I told you earlier, Excel object model and Excel object Excel object model, object properties and methods are going to be basic simple commands that you would be performing in the background of Excel. So let's say you need to copy down certain something, so then obviously there is a background command associated. So the first thing that we would be giving you are assignments that would be related to all those commands. Let's say you could do thousands of things in Excel, and then what we'd be doing is we would be collecting all those commands that you could do in Excel. First we would be teaching you those commands, and then we would be asking you based on those commands that you could do in Excel, we are going to create a simple dashboard report for you, which could be easily automated if in case you knew all the background commands. So the kind of dashboard or the kind of report that would be given to you would be something like this. It's going to be seen something like this, where exactly you would be given a template, or let's say let's get this understanding from this point of view, that your manager comes down to you, gives you these two raw files. The first file that he gives out to you is going to be employees. Now he says that I have this raw file here, and it contains the data of all our employees with their employee ID, their employee name, their employee department, and their salaries. So this is the data that we have in employee. And then what he does is he comes back and he says that I have another file with the location details. So since our every department is allocated to certain different location, so here is the location details for all those departments. And then he asks you that, okay, I have given you these two raw files. Now I want the output in this format. I want the dashboard, and this dashboard needs to be generated monthly basis. Needs to be generated on a monthly basis, so that the management could have a fair basic understanding of how many numbers of people are allocated in different departments and how many number of people are allocated in different location and different salary bands. Got it? And after marking up or after nudging up your head with these reports, after a while you think about it, how you're going to create it, and then there are going to be certain simple steps, like you're going to collate both the data, and then based on the data you are going to attach this template, and then within this template you're going to put some formulations to fetch out the data, the counts of all the people according to specified criterias, and then probably you would create certain visualizations, and then you would create some formattings and all, and then probably what you're going to do is you're going to produce an output like this, which is going to be monthly dashboard August, that is available over here. So if I go over here and if I take you over here, the monthly dashboard is going to be looking something like this, where exactly this is going to be a monthly dashboard sheet. All these formulations are going to be filled with some kind of formula like countifs and all, and then based on these particular things, or based on this particular data, you would create certain visualizations so that your management could understand it pretty much easily. And then if you are going to click over this hyperlink, it is going to take you to the next sheet, and the next sheet is going to be the employee sheet. So obviously over here, employee ID, name, department and salary are going to be coming from the employee file, and then based on that, this location part, as you can see in the formula bar as well, it is a VLOOKUP kind of stuff, where exactly you have taken down this location based on the department from the location file, and then you have put some kind of division of salary divided by all the salaries, which would give you a fair basic understanding of which employee is drawing the highest percentage of salary out of everyone. And then if you have a shape over here which is which is going to give you an idea of which is going to put you into the same dashboard sheet once again, which is just the previous sheet. So you have some hyperlink based shapes, you have some good fair understandable data set, and then based on that data set you have a dashboard with visualizations pretty much ready. So this is the output that you are going to create. But then the problem comes that this dashboard is going to be created on a monthly basis, and you need to spend some half an hour to an hour every single month to repeatedly create that dashboard. But you are having this idea where exactly you could create a macro for yourself which could go ahead and automate the process of creation of this report. So let's go ahead and delete this particular output file, and if in case you see we have a report creation macro app. Now this is what exactly would be the expectation from our side for you, that you would be creating a report creation app for us, where exactly what this app is going to do is, all this app is going to have is just a button. And as soon as you are going to create, or as soon as you are going to click over this button, it is going to open up both employees and location file and then merge or collate all the data, and based on the data it is going to give some values up. See, the data is ready, some conditional formatting is also ready, hyperlink buttons are also ready, pivots are also ready, and if you click on the sheet and over here all the formulations have been done, the visualizations have been created, hyperlink buttons are working perfectly fine over here as well. So every single thing has been done, and the best part is that you have created the entire report, and the new report that now created is again saved in the outputs file. So I hope so that you can understand the basic logic behind macro creation is automating the process of creating reports. So this is what exactly would be our first expectation from you, because obviously every single thing that has been done in this creation of report, there is nothing or there is no programming technique used like loops and stuffs. It is a simple fair basic level command structure that you need to put a pivot. So what exactly would be the command? You need to go with the data, and you need to collate that data, how exactly that would be done. You need to put some formulations, you need to create charts and visualizations, how it would be done. So every single thing, whatever commands needs to be written behind would be kind of expected from your side to be written in order, so that you could automate the process of report creation at your end. So this is going to be your first assignment at Excel Rookies probably, which is going to which is going to turn you into or probably give you an understanding about this application is going to give you an understanding about Excel object model and properties. Then the next thing that we are going to cover is object events. Let's take a practical and understanding of what exactly an event is. So if you could see this particular file, events are basically those programs that are not executed on any kind of button click, but they get executed automatically when an instance or when any event occurs. Let's say over here there are some steps that are written, and it is written try some of these steps if you can. So the first step that is written over here is try to select sheet 2. Now when I'm trying to select sheet 2, what is happening is that the sheet 2 gets activated, and as soon as the sheet 2 gets activated, an event runs, and based on that event a program runs that goes ahead and reselect sheet 1 for me. So in a nutshell, I would never be able to select sheet 2 at my end. When I try to add a new worksheet, as the second command says to me, and I try to add a new worksheet, but what happens is as soon as I create the new worksheet, the new worksheet events is happening, and as per that event a program runs up which goes ahead and deletes the newly created sheet. If I try to change any value or write something anywhere in this workbook as per the third command, let's say I tried and write it up like this, and then I pressed enter. So as soon as I'm trying to change certain values in this particular workbook, an event occurs, and based on that event a program automatically runs which says you have changed the values, and sorry, I have to close without saving your changes. So if in case I press enter, the event goes down, and obviously the workbook gets closed without saving the changes. So this is what is an example of what is called a famous example of events, where exactly you are not going to run any program, but the program is automatically going to fire or automatically going to run when that event is going to happen. Now, the next thing that we would be teaching you is obviously VBA programming techniques. As per our presentation, if you see it back over here, the next thing is going to be programming techniques. So what are the programming techniques that we are going to teach you? It would be a lot more like these: variables, arrays, procedures, iterations, conditions. There would be a lot of those stuffs which are related to programming, and the big hype of programming that people do not know how to use loop, conditions, or arrays or variables. People have doubts, and more importantly, people have a fear of it as well. So we are going to teach you this all in the context of report making itself, and at the same point of time we would be trying to make it as comfortable, or make you guys as comfortable as possible, so that you could easily understand how to build out the logic in programming and how could you use that syntax to your best efforts. Is that clear? So now the next thing that we are going to do with you is that we are going to give you or pose you in situations where we would want you to create certain applications that are related, that are relatively logical in nature, that are going to teach you the concepts of programming to the very core. And a common example of this kind of application is going to be, if in case I give you a common example of this kind of application, that is going to be this, let's take this pattern making presentation example. So what exactly this pattern making application is all about is that it is going to be producing one common command on a repeated mode. Let's say if I press on this Ravi button, and then it says ready for typing Ravi, and then OK, and then R is done, A is done, V is done, and I is done, and then a name pattern, a pattern for a particular person's name is printed over here on this particular worksheet rather. So if I obsolete, or if I eliminate all these three characters AVI and just leave you with this R, or leave let's leave us with this R stuff. And now if in case you need to understand what exactly has happened over here, so the first thing that you need to understand is that I have learned, let's understand it from this perspective, that we have learned a new command where exactly all we have learned is how you could color a single cell with red color. Now you need to repeat the same command. On all these cells based on certain logic, and obviously you need to write this command not more than once, twice, or thrice, but at the same point of time you need to reiterate the process so that on all these rows it automatically creates a pattern with the name of R, let's say, or with the R letter. Now how exactly you're going to repeat the process, or how exactly you are going to eliminate the process of repetition? Now one way in this scenario is going to be, obviously, just pick up this command. If this is the command, let's say, if we can write the command for one particular cell, then we are going to repeat the process for all the cells. So but then that doesn't make point. Let's say if in case over here in this scenario we need to color some 50 cells, now we cannot write 50 commands in behind. So obviously we need to write the commands not more than twice or thrice, and at the same point of time we need to repeat the process in such a manner so that obviously it gets the pattern gets created within the less number of commands. Fine. So now what exactly would be the logic? Now if you see this R, let's say if I ask you to see this R from this perspective, let's select certain rows over here: 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, and then 17, and that's it. Now if you look at this data, now let's say you need to repeat the process from row number 2 to row number 17. So you need to write up this coloring command for every single line. Now out of these rows also, some of the rows are going to possess common behavior. That means let's say row number 3 and row number 4 is going to possess a common behavior, because all the 3 cells in row number 3 and row number 4 are going to get colored. Row number 5, row number 6, row number 7, row number 8, row number 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16 and 17 are going to show a common behavior, where the leftmost cell and the rightmost cell get colored and the middle cells are remain left, or will remain blank, and row number 9 and row number 10 is going to follow one common pattern once again, and over here the first 2 cells are going to get colored and the last cell is going to remain blank. So now you understood it. If we see from this perspective, let's say we tried a particular repetitive activity from row number 2 to 17, and within that repetition as well we created 3 different conditions, one for row number 3 and 4, another one for 9 and 10, and the rest of the rows, whatever they are left, the third condition gets applied. So within that third condition, within those 3 lines and in that repetition, if in case we are going to run this particular program, obviously the R character is going to be printed very efficiently with the less number of commands, and obviously we are going to achieve our objectives as well. So there would be a lot of exercises like this where exactly a lot of logic building is going to be taught to you, and we would not exactly be teaching you logic building, rather we would be possessing you or posing you into ample of situations like this where exactly this logic is needed, and you would be creating with experience probably this. So we would be putting you in ample of situations where you get your experience and you start learning and you start identifying what exactly a logic that could be used in behind. Now let's go ahead and clear a pattern, and then you would be creating a lot of patterns, maybe something like this, and then this probably. So there would be a lot of things that would be covered in programming techniques, and then pattern making is just one common example of kind of programming techniques, or telling you to use those programming techniques. But then there would be other ways, and there would be other scenarios, other applications as well that would be given to you, so that you could go ahead and learn this programming techniques very efficiently at Excel Rookies. And then now if in case we move to the next part of the showcase presentation, it is going to teach us that we are going to learn a lot about application development as well. So what exactly an application development is, or what exactly a simple level of application looks like. Let's say I have opened the sheet based data entry form. So this is a data entry application that is going to be the most simpler level of application that we would be asking you to create. Now imagine a particular opportunity where exactly you have a team of few people are there who sits on front desk, and then what they do is they write down their data with them, and then in the evening they give you back their data. Now the problem is they give you their data, someone gives you in the form of paper, someone gives you over on mail, someone gives you in an Excel file. Now you have a lot of problem that at the end of the day you need to create a consolidated Excel file for every one of them. So now you ask them to create an Excel file and then send you the data. But the point is that they are not intelligent enough, or they are not educated enough, or they are not computer literate enough that they could be filling that Excel file with ease, because any Excel file is going to look something probably like this maybe, and then they have to kind of fill in their data in this kind of an Excel format, which is going to be a little awkward for a person who is not computer literate, let's say. But once told, obviously he can do it again and again, but to be much more simpler so that your applications could be used by even an illiterate person. So to make that easy enough to understand is the case that we are going to use is going to be a user interface. That means we are going to design a particular interface that could be pitched onto any particular user, and even a layman can basically understand this stuff. So now the question is pretty much simple. If you see it pretty clearly, this is going to be nothing more than an Excel sheet itself, but then this Excel sheet has been designed in such a manner so that it goes ahead and kind of gives you the opportunity to enter certain data inside it, and then you go ahead and enter certain data inside it. Let's say now I have got this application and I go ahead and kind of insert certain data in it. something like this, and then probably maybe something like this. Anything, and any single thing that could that you could go ahead and probably use over here. So let's say probably this, and then you all you do is just press save button, and all that happens is the data gets picked up from that particular user interface, and then goes ahead and gets aligned into the probably into that application as and where you need it. So this is what exactly are the kind of applications that are going to help you in or that we are going to expect in the month 2. And then probably once you would be learning how to create these user interfaces, there would be a lot more applications that you would be automating or that you would be creating at your end. Now, a common example of this is, let's say if in case you need to give it a more trendy look, a more kind of an application look, so you could probably be using certain user forms with certain kind of user controls and stuff like that. But exactly, this is also a data entry form, but the only difference is going to be let's say the only difference that is there in this user entry form is nothing apart from the fact that it is just an access form where exactly you're trying to apply for the access of the different floors that you can access in the organization. So maybe something like that is what this access form supports. And all you need to do is you need to just click on the different things, and all you need to do is just save your profile. And as soon as you go to the data sheet, you could read this, that the entire data gets allocated to different stuffs, or the entire data gets allocated to the grid, where exactly this grid could be used by different executives to process the access requests of different employees. So this is where exactly these kind of applications are pretty much useful. And it is going to help you a lot as well in the process of learning application development, because this is what exactly going to teach you a lot of interactive behaviors, how you create those applications that you're going to give to your users to process their inputs, and then you are going to give them the results back. So application development is much more like that. So obviously these are also macros, but all these macros are going to have a UI, which is going to be a front end, needs to be used by the user or the end user, and obviously whatever results that he's going to, or whatever inputs that he's going to give, would be processed by the application, and the result would be given back to him. And when it comes to you or me, we are going to be the developer of this application, and so that we could be developing this application in place of a process that is already running manually in any particular organization or place. Fine. The next thing that we are going to do is, as you can see over here, so we would be learning app backend programming, error handling for all these applications, and then we would be learning different kind of applications like menu ribbon control or add-ins. Now, what exactly menu ribbon controls are? Menu commands are pretty much simple to understand. If in case you see this menu command, now one of my colleagues had a problem. He said that there are certain formulas in Excel like probably trim. Now these are 3-step procedure formulas. Now what exactly a 3-step procedure is, that the first step that you need to do is you need to first trim the value into a new cell, and then you need to copy paste special values this particular value, and then once you do it, then you need to cut it from here, and then you need to place it over here, something like that. But there is a huge problem with this. He says that, or let's say my employee or my colleague said that this is a fantastic problem. So what I said, one of my students, or let's say we have transferred this request to one of our cadre people, or a person who gets trained from us, and we said, isn't it possible if in case it would be just like the bold button, if in case I press the bold button, it produces the bold output over here itself. Let's say if this is a particular cell and I press the bold button, it produces the bold output or the bolded output over here itself. So isn't it possible that there could be a button with the name of trim, and if in case we could just click on that trim button and it produces the trim output over here itself. So we gave this a kind of request to one of our one of the persons who was learning, one of the corporate persons who was learning with us, and he was fantastically good at it. He took the challenge, he appreciated the request, and then he created a menu ribbon control like this, which is having a complete tab with the name of new formulas, and then it has certain formulas that are 3-step formulas that they have that he has automated. Now all you need to do is just click on a particular cell or select a range of a particular cells, and then all you need to do is just press trim button, and all the entries in that particular range are going to get trimmed for you. All the entries in that particular range are going to get lower for you, or are going to transfer into uppercase, or probably are going to transfer into proper case. So I mean, this is the level of efficacy if in case you start learning applications, and there are a lot of applications that you could learn or that you could create by your own self. And more importantly, let's say if in case you are successful in creating good applications, I mean, you could participate in or you could sell them by your own self, or if in case you cannot do it, you could partner Excel Rookies up to sell your applications as well, because at Excel Rookies there is this possibility of creating an application and then selling selling it in the blunt market. So there would be a lot of things that would be covered in month 2 apart from this, where exactly a common example that I normally show people is media player application and add-in. Now what this media player application and add-in is all about. Media player application and add-in is all about a new kind of an application where exactly all that we are going to do is nothing. All that we are going to do is nothing. We are going to create first of all an add-in, and what exactly this add-in is going to be all about is let's go ahead and understand it in a little detail. Now the same person who has automated that menu ribbon application has created another application with us. Now if you see these regular tabs, home, music, insert, page layout, formulas, data, review, view, developer, and all these tabs, I mean, can you see over here there is one tab that is a little bit of different in nature. Now this is the music player app that he has tried to integrate into the Excel itself. That what he has tried to do is, if in case I click on the show button, it says this application is about to initialize an ActiveX control that looks something like this, and then this ActiveX control. Now if you see this ActiveX control, it is going to have a baby media player within it, and all you need to do is just click on add songs and then just go down to any particular folder that contains songs. So I have this FAFs folder in my desktop which contains some of the songs, and if I click on this particular any particular song and click on play, it starts playing that particular song. If I click on play all, it is going to create a particular playlist for me to create the song. But the problem with this is that when this player is on, I'm unable to write anything. When this player is working, I'm unable to write anything on this Excel because it produces a blunt noise and it says, sorry, you cannot do anything. Problem is this, that if I'm going to close or click on the close button, what exactly is going to happen is the player is going to get stopped. So that is why the application developer has taken up an error handling or an exception handling stuff, that he has disabled this X button, and instead of that he has asked us to use the minimize button on the form. So that let's say if you're playing this particular app and you click on minimize this particular stuff, and then you start working on your Excel just the way you were doing earlier, I mean, probably everything works beautifully fine, and then all you need to do is just click on the show again, stop the songs, and work or let's say change the track and minimize it again and start working back into the Excel. So these are the kind of applications that we feel like that would be good enough for you. But now there is one more case. Now as I told you earlier, what exactly an add-in is, normally all the applications that we create in Excel are limited to within that particular workbook. So that simply means that this MP3 player is going to be limited to this workbook itself. So that means whenever I need to play some songs within Excel, I need to first open up this application and then play it within it and make sure that this workbook is open all the time so that my player runs up. But this is not the good way. I suppose if this MP3 player is a good stuff, so it should be available to the entire Excel, no? So if in case it is going to be available to the entire Excel, how exactly it is going to be available to the entire Excel? So in that case, what we exactly are going to do is we exactly are going to kind of transform it from a particular workbook into an add-in. Now what exactly an add-in is? Now let's go ahead and understand it. Now if in case you say it over here, let's take you to the developer tab, and what in developer tab we are going to do is that you could see this add-ins button over here. What exactly we are going to do is we have already transformed this workbook into this add-in feature, and now what we are going to do is we are just going to attach that add-in feature. Now how exactly we are going to attach this add-in feature? Okay, now how exactly we are going to attach it from this add-in feature? I suppose for this all we need to do is for this, let's just close this application once, and then let's open it up once again, so that I suppose there are some kind of problems that are there with my add-ins. So when I click on this developer tab, we go to this add-ins bar, and you could see that there is this media player add-in already available with us. We are just going to click tick mark over here and press OK. Now you could see that this media player is available to the entire Excel. I mean, any particular workbook that you're going to open. I close this workbook and then I just open a blunt new Excel file. Let's say if in case maybe it looks something like this, a blunt Excel file, which is a new Excel file that you're going to create, would be looking something like this. And this Excel file, music is still available. If in case you close this Excel file as well, still the music player is going to be available for you. And you could use this music player for your own for your own projects where exactly you need to use it. Fine. If in case you are going to open a new file like this, then also this music player is available to you. You go ahead, you add some songs, probably once again from desktop. If I add the fast folder and just click on this OK button, and all the songs are over here. I click on play and it is running, and then all I need to do is minimize and start working in it. That's it. So there is a lot of way where exactly you could do it like this, or give your applications a global access to the entire Excel, so that they could be running as an add-in and could be accessible to any particular workbook that you have. Now coming on to the next things that we would be learning is obviously going to be in month 3, which is going to be a lot of cross-platform development. So obviously I won't be able to give you a demo of all the kind of cross-platform development that we are going to do, because obviously these are big applications that are needed to be maintained regularly. So instead of that, what I'm going to do is that I'm going to give you an understanding, and at the same point of time I'm going to showcase you very few basic, or let's say 2 of the basic applications that we would be using in month 3 of cross-platform development. So those 2 applications are going to be, one of them is going to be an Outlook Mail Center app, where exactly in Excel you are going to trying to automate Outlook. So let's say I have certain details and it says that my mail ID is this, and then on my mail ID what I need to send is probably with the name of try this message, with the subject of this particular statement, and attaching any of the 2 particular files like ticket and tran, and then writing something, hey Akash, and then all I need to do is just press on send, and it asks, are you sure? I say yes, and you could see my Outlook working pretty much fine, and you could see that in the outbox the mail is going, and it has come down to my sent items now. So try this message was the subject of this particular mail, both the attachments were attached, the body is here, the mail ID is here. So everything that comes up in this way is going to be pretty much simpler. We're exactly sitting within Excel. You are trying to automate a particular process that is related with some other application around the corners. So another application from cross-platform development series could be thought about as a Gmail application. So what exactly this Gmail application is all about, for this, what I'll be doing is I'll be just clicking on this particular button, and what exactly it is going to do for me is it has opened a particular Internet Explorer. Within that, it has opened gmail.com for me automatically. I have not done anything. And now what exactly it is going to do is it is going to pass on my username and password. So username is already there, I suppose. Now what exactly it is going to do is it is going to pass my password over here automatically, and as you can see it over here, and then it will automatically click on sign in button and would sign in the Gmail feature for me. And at the same point of time, what it is going to do is when I'll be for this I need to be back in Excel, and back in Excel over here, once the Gmail is fully loaded. Fine. So once the Gmail is fully loaded, when I'm back to Excel, it says Gmail is ready to use. Please check your internet windows, boss. So this simply means that I have automated a simple procedure that could be used on web kind of technology. So I have done it with the help of my Excel VBA macro itself. So this is fantastic. If in case you could make up with a lot of cross-platform development kind of apps that are going to be taking you from a very novice or a very beginner developer to a very novice developer, and it is going to be it is going to be helping you straight from automating reports to be a good developer who can create beautiful and fantastic apps that solves real-time problems. Fine. So that's all for this session, I suppose, and with this I suppose the showcase is pretty much over. So let's go ahead and take a look at the rest of the things that are left, and I suppose they are not. So let's go ahead and take a look at what exactly is left. Thank you for the entire showcase part, and let's move on to our next slide then.